So you just put it between, you can put it between two people like this. Mm-hmm. So I got a video shot of you, mm-hmm. but I also got a video shot of me. Mm-hmm. Plus I also have a video shot of the ceiling if I want it, or look beyond me to the thing. After I get it out of the camera into the computer, I can aim it wherever I want, whenever I want. Just to give you a little flavor of it, it comes with an app that you have on your phone, mm-hmm. and then they have these selfie sticks where basically the stick disappears. You don't even see it in the shot. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen people talking into them. You never see the stick.
It'll show on the screen here, but for some reason I don't want it. I get it in the computer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. So right now it's recording, mm-hmm. and
fantastic.
Sure, yeah. You can, plus, see, like if two people were having a conversation,
yeah.
you can just sit there afterwards and point the camera back and forth between to the one that's talking. And then on each side of the camera, it's a microphone
mm-hmm.
for the camera. So if we're this close to the camera, it probably is decent enough. At least you'll be able to understand what the people are saying.
Right.
But I can hook up a wireless mic that I plug into the side, mm-hmm. and then each person would have a microphone.
Oh yeah, so it don't bleed over.
So, yeah, but sometimes, as long as you can tell what it says, that's more authentic feeling than some polished sound that's just perfect. You know, like if you're in a restaurant and you can hear the clanking of the dishes or mm-hmm. the cleaning up or whatever. That's kind of a realism to it. NPR uses that on some of their broadcasts. You know, they'll go into a place and then you can't see it because it's just sound, but you hear it. You know. So, but this could combine.
It's like a fake applause.
yeah. Only this is real. You're actually hearing the sound in real time.
Right.
And then you can. But the problem with this is the X3 version.
I see that. I was reading it.
And it is probably, is it pre-pandemic or post-pandemic? Probably post-pandemic. Mm-hmm. Probably 21 or 22. Mm-hmm. They just now came out with X5, so I've missed an upgrade. You know.
Yeah.
The 4 came and went, and
so it's just more better quality.
Yes, it's got the chip is bigger.
Yeah.
So that it works better in lower light. So this could be considered lower light, actually. Although it's pretty well lit.
Yeah.
That's why I was.
Right.
When you said Dunkin' Donuts, I said, "Oh, good! I'm going to take this whole thing and test it out to see what it actually does." So it's got some decent light. Yeah, you can look up at the ceiling if you want.
Oh no, I saw that. That's amazing.
And this is live. I guess there's a way to you could actually live broadcast. Like on YouTube, you can have a live cast where you're doing this right now.
Just plug it in.
Well, and it'll be airing out on YouTube, you know, as you're talking.
Tell everybody out there, kiss my ass, hook 'em horns.
Well, I just thought, what the hell? It's just what humorous. It would be something fun to do.
Yeah. What amazes me is that the camera. How does it get a shot up there with just the two lenses? It's fisheye.
You have two lenses that are fisheye. Yeah. They're basically 180 degrees.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Well, and what it does is the case disappears.
Yeah.
Because they merge the two camera shots together, and they merge it with the camera missing out of it.
Right.
So it's actually air more than 180 degrees.
Right. That's what I said. But the bubble doesn't look like a half a ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's only like that.
But, you know, the proof is in the pudding.
I know.
And, you know,
that's what amazes me.
Yeah.
Is that the bubble isn't like, you know, like that, like a half a ball.
No. And it's, you know, if you, I was thinking for deals like this where you're going in a coffee shop or whatever, I was trying to figure out what would be the best place for lighting. And I thought, well, maybe where you're next to the window.
Yeah.
But then the light is behind you. So you never have to frame it up so it'd be looking right at the bright. Because if you look directly at a window, you know, that's pretty much blown out. You're not going to be able to see through the window like you can in real life, you know. Because it's just a poor, cheap camera.
Right.
I mean, relatively speaking. So, yeah, I mean, I'm interested in figuring out whether it's worth the extra messing around to hook the wireless mics on it, or whether this sound right here is good enough.
Yeah.
And then when you get it done and get it in the computer,
once you get it home, you can
do whatever you
figure all that out.
And there's two ways. You could actually just establish one shot at you and then make a video of that.
Yeah.
And then turn around and look at me and make one shot of that. And then I could put it in my editing program so that in the editing program I can go back and forth between those two cameras. You know, as I do it in weddings. You know,
right.
Go back and, or you can actually just, as you're viewing the footage, just keep moving the camera back and forth to the other person. It gets a little awkward. If you go slow, it's awkward, and if you go too fast, it's just like whoa. So, but I'll experiment around again to see if I can get it pointed. But I just thought it would be just entertaining to sit down and record, even if you never use it for anything. But you know, like we were having some belly laughs.
Yeah.
Telling some of that joke.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool to capture that stuff on video, you know. And then when you get all done and you edit it, if there's things you want to show on the screen, like you mentioned, you know, an article or whatever, you could do a frame grab of it and put that in the video, so you're actually looking at what you're talking about on the screen. Or and then you can take sections of it if you want to just get it out because it's junk.
Right.
You got sidetracked and you completely lost your mind and you're not talking about anything coming out. You can just chop that section out.
Sure.
Or what I see some people doing is they take that deader time when it's not really productive. You know, you don't want to listen to what they're saying. They speed it up in fast motion. So you know, this maybe 3-minute intermission is actually you know, a 15-second fast motion thing.
Right.
You know, and it's still, you still kind of see what's going on.
Miss anything.
Yeah, but you didn't. You didn't miss it. And so I just
that thing would be fun at a party, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, like any kind of little like get together, you just set it up and then just be yourself.
I was thinking, even in a thing like this, let's say someone interesting walks in, and you're like, guy goes, "What are you doing?" You know, and you say, "Well, hey, we're taping the show. Here, have a seat." You know, and he sits down, and you're sitting there injecting another person into the conversation, and then if this was in a table out here.
Yeah.
You can have people all the way around the table.
Right.
And then, you know, my kind of philosophy.
And that being wireless can sit anywhere.
Yeah. Now, there's a limit to how long the battery
I was going to say it must
last.
be about an hour and a couple hours.
Probably an hour. Maybe an hour. It depends. This time, I did a test yesterday at home, and I had it on the highest resolution that it comes. And which is 5.7K, whatever that means. But after like 15 minutes, that sucker was warm. I could feel it. It's like, whoa. But that's normal for when you're moving a lot of data. It's going to heat things up.
Yeah.
Whether it's, they have thermal protections in them where they'll shut it down if it gets,
if it's sitting in the sun.
But it just made me feel a little uncomfortable running that warm. So today I'm running it at 4K, lower resolution, so it won't have to work so hard to make it. And then, well, it even tells me here, see, oh yeah, so I still got 97% battery.
Right.
So it's, I guess the 4K really
changes
changes how fast it takes the battery down. Because I took the battery down with this thing down to like 50% within 35 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Like so here, we've been taping for almost 10 minutes, and it's only come down 3%.
3%, sure. 3%.
But if you want to set yourself free from worrying about it, I got a little battery that I can plug into with a USB cable and plug it into the side, and then it'll last for literally hours.
Yeah, who knows how long, right?
So like if you wanted to have a long-form conversation like Joe Rogan does or whatever, where you're we're really going to talk something out, you could if you wanted to.
Yeah. That's what I said if you had another battery, but you got a USB.
Yeah, well, it's a backup battery basically. In fact, when it got down to 50%, I said, well, I'm going to try that other battery. So I left everything running, and I plugged in my USB battery into it, and right away it showed that it was charging, and slowly started climbing back up. Started climbing back up.
Yep.
I was, by the time I got done running my test, it was all the way up to like 70% from 50%.
Is it 4,000 or 75?
Yeah, no, that's a resolution of the video.
Yeah.
This is just the length of time on a battery. So if 4K is decent enough, then
and you'll know that after you plug it in.
Then if the sound is okay, if you can understand us talking and stuff like that,
I think you should.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out.
I think you will.
I'll be sending you a link to the video.
You
can watch it. You can watch it to see what it is, and it's just entertaining.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, if we just happen to, get famous and get rich and stuff, so be it. We'll learn to deal with it. But until then, can't we have our pathetic little entertainments, our little fantasies that we do? I think what's really ironic is years ago.
So if we go to the strip club, we should leave it in the car?
No, man. Except you won't be able to post it on YouTube. You'll have to find someplace else to post it. But I can't remember where I was going with that.
Well, we get rich.
The whole concept that I've been kind of kicking around for several years now is the fact that in our modern civilization, we operate with big governments and big companies and everything. But if you go back 10,000 or more years, we were basically tribes of people that probably didn't get in groups of more than 100.
Probably no, I wouldn't think so. Probably not.
Because the optimum size group is one that you can actually know every single person personally. You can eyeball to eyeball,
and can control it
at least like once a week or once every couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean,
feed yourself.
Well, that's your whole goal.
That's the whole thing
with your tribe is to survive.
Right.
You just want to survive.
Right.
And if you, is it possible to move back in that direction? It's like Back to the Future. I mean, the direction we're going is more and more centralized government.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Everything's centralized. Everything's being run by a bunch of technocrats.
That's the problem right now. The globalists.
Yeah, and they're just they're calling the shots, and they are brainwashing the entire population because we used to be 100% of your time when you're in the world is in the reality, in the real world.
Right here now in front of you.
Now, everyone's immersed in a virtual world.
Yep.
On their phone, on their
That's
TV,
why I don't mess with it.
On your TV, on your, whatever. That and your brain isn't smart enough to know whether it's fake or whether it's real. So every war that's being fought in Ukraine and Israel and everything is something you're actually living through. Well, are you really designed to take on the burdens of the entire world? No, you were designed to take on the burdens of your 100 people that you are connected with, that you work together to survive.
There's too much input, too much information.
So I came up with this idea. It was Tribes Rising.
That's what you're going to call it, Tribes Rising?
Well, I basically captured the domain name on the internet 6 years, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Tribes Rising. Now, whether you have a domain name or not isn't quite as important as it used to be.
Not as it used to be.
You can still, you can link off your X account or your whatever.
If you had a small business, you know, you want to name it that, it could be already taken.
But anyway, so I've saved that all these years.
Oh, okay.
And then I had another dream that kind of, I would hate to pose Mike Ossen as a journalist or a reporter or whatever. Just Mike Ossen. It's like you Norwegian hack, you bumbling Scandinavian. What the hell could you possibly have to offer the world? And so I came up with an idea.
Get yourself some lutefisk.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And it's not even cooked, is it? It's just soaked
it's just soaked in lye. It's like, you're serious? You're gonna eat that crap?
Yep.
It's like, yeah, it's really good if it's cooked right. So anyway, I thought,
you guys are the original Shark Tank.
I thought, okay, my first name is Michael, my middle name is Daniel. So I thought, and I did this for my pictures that I post online. I thought, from now on, because Carl was giving me a hard time, saying, you're putting those pictures out on the internet and you're not copywriting them or anything, people will steal them. And I'm like, hallelujah. If you think my picture is good enough to steal, have at it. Have at it. But as kind of a joke, I started copywriting them. I put a little thing down in the lower right-hand corner of all my pictures that said Dan Michaels Images. So I took my middle name, put it first, Dan Michaels Images. And then I thought, if you were going to do like some kind of YouTube show or something, you could call it the Dan Michaels Report. And so I reserved danmichaelsreport.com.
Did you?
So I have that. And then years later, I'm sitting in a Dunkin' Donuts in Eau Claire on Hastings Avenue going, you're Dan and I'm Michael. And it's like, we have the Dan Michaels Report right here. And then we can start screwing around with this and just having fun with it. And it goes nowhere. Fine, whatever. We monkeyed around with it and we tried.
I never thought about that.
And we had entertaining, and then we're kind of tied into the Tribes Rising thing. And my thinking about how smaller groups are. This could be, you can have a deal where this is like a campfire. So you're sitting in a small circle table, and this is in the middle of that table, and then maybe you have some kind of warm lights shining out from the base of this out towards the people. So you could have start out, you just got 2, then you add a third, you got 3 people shooting the shit, you got 4 people, you probably get 5, you probably get up to 5, and still be able to hear the sound, all right? And then if it really got took off or whatever, you could have a next ring around it, and then if someone on the outer ring has really got something to say, and someone in the inner ring says, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here for right now, they could change places and continue the conversation, and then just tackle stupid questions that aren't so connected politically,
Right.
Like I saw an article the other day that was it said that the real problem that we're having is stupid people.
Can't fix it.
It's not Democrats, it's not Republicans, it's stupid people. And democracies are horrible for they just foster stupidity, and so you got this huge center that is basically decides elections of people that are stupid. They've never taken the time to figure out what's true, what's not true.
Yeah.
They're brainwashed, basically. I mean, they've been spent years now either listening to Fox or NBC or whatever, and even now with the newer computer age, they're still listening to sources that are vested in a certain idea. I mean, Rogan tries to stay pretty open-minded and stuff, and kind of wanders around and stuff, but it's just like here we got something kind of mimicking the tribe around the campfire, and it's a camera that can point any direction at any time and listen to anyone who's talking, and the lighting would be the real warm lighting, so it kind of have that feel like actual fire. You could see if there's some way to get real creative and actually have it flicker. Actually have a little flicker a little bit. What'd you say with the cup?
We could just burn some napkins.
Yeah, have an actual little fire on the table.
Right.
Have a little ashtray.
We'll just get a regular coffee cup so they don't have a meltdown.
we can have a fire on the table. And then we tape the firemen as they come in.
Right.
Okay.
Or we could take the lid off and just float one of the little Chinese things on there. It'd be floating around with a flame, a little candle.
Yeah, if you get, like we have these LED candles that we have at home, and they flicker.
They flicker. Lisa's got them. They're little things like that.
Yeah, and we got little bigger ones, but if you turn them on at the same time with the remote, then they all flicker exactly the same pace. Yeah, because they're an electronic thing that's
right.
The time is going to stay. But if you start one, then start another, go around and get them at different times, then it really starts flickering. I thought if you could get something to duplicate that on camera to feel that flicker, but I don't. But this right here, what you're seeing now, is in its simplest form. It's one camera, one tripod thing, period. I mean, it's just the simplest possible thing.
I bet you that old boy would have something to say.
Yeah. If you...
He's got a lifetime of life experience.
Yeah. Just think of the people, the stories you could get.
Yep.
And it's like, what's on the agenda today? Nothing. Nothing. We're just going to talk. We're going to take it as it comes.
I'm just thinking about make sure I get home all right and what's for supper.
Right. That's what you call long-range thinking. What's for supper today?
What's for supper? That's right. Leftovers. Lutefisk. What again?
And some Walters beer.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh God! Did you ever drink Walters?
if I did, I was very, very. I've been up here only anyway. It's regional.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Walters is local. Yeah, there's the Walters Mansion, which is right down off from, where the Wigwam is. Well, back in that neighborhood behind there.
Oh, back in there?
Yeah.
Well, that's where the brewery was,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's where the brewery was. Yeah, and our Carol's relative basically had an apartment in the old Walters.
Oh, okay.
Mansion. They had made it into rental property, basically. It had 3 or 4 different apartments in it. But, that was Walters beer.
Well, that makes sense because
I've tasted it, but I never drank it. It was a steady drink.
Well, that makes sense. The mansion would be there too because it's facing the river. You got a view,
Oh yeah.
I knew the old brewery was sitting there. You can still see the name on the building.
Yeah.
Years.
I drove not too far away from it the other day, but I didn't look. Sometimes I just go snooping around.
Oh, I don't know if it's still there. I'm referring to 20. It's been 20 years since I've been down there, other than going to the lawnmower shop there, Barstow Mower.
Well, that's the one thing since I've been retired is I a couple times a week or so just take rides around to see what. Like I wanted to go to Mount Simon Park up there. There's a little park up there because you're always on the lookout for that perfect picture. The place where you can take a picture from. To get a nice view of something. Yeah. And so you're always evaluating any upper elevations.
Right.
Used to be able to go up on Mount Tom.
Yep.
But
I was going to say Mount Tom. I was trying to think of it.
You can't. They closed it down.
Shut it down.
Yeah, because people are going up there and screwing around with their big. They got a big antenna up there, like a cell tower and stuff, and people are going up there screwing around with that. So they cut that off, which. See, and then I realized all this snooping around for these higher elevations is because I lost my drones.
Yeah.
Because that was the nice thing about a drone.
Yep.
You always got to view.
Send it up there.
And after you got good at it, you could grab your drone and have that thing at 400 feet within maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Got to put it together and get it connected. And I do it on the front seat of my car.
Oh, okay.
Put it all together. And then when I got it all together, turned on and connected, then I'd open the window and set it on top of my moonroof. On my moonroof, see? So I could sit there and actually look at it.
Yeah, so watch
and then control it sitting in the driver's seat, take off from the roof of my car, and a few seconds later you're at 400 feet. Then you sit there and just pan around to see what kind of views you got and stuff, and then...
That's funny.
Yeah, it's
Never thought about that.
It's a gas. Well, and
setting it on the roof on your moon roof and looking up.
And then it's easy to spot when you're up
That's
in
when
the
you
air.
set that on the hood, you can watch the whole thing.
Well, I'll send you a link to a video that I did with. It wasn't this exact camera, but it was another 360 where I called the movie POV, point of view, and it was a view of me driving the car from the steering wheel's van. When I turned the steering wheel, the whole thing would turn around. And then looking at the speedometer close, looking at me in the face, I put the camera on the front of the car. On the, what do you call that, the bug shield or whatever. I just clamp it on there.
Right.
So then I'd have a view looking forward. I'd have a view looking backwards at me. And then while I'm going, I could be zooming in or out or just like, whoa. I'll send you a link to that so you can see what kind of things. So that's one thing we would want to do is come up with some kind of, 10, 15 second they call it intro and an extra, thing you put on the beginning of the video and back of the video, just to get everyone on board for the ride into your whatever you're doing. Just like I can't think of how Rogan does it, but there's different ways to do it. But
that's funny.
Not to draw it out, but just to it's like an establishing shot. This is the Rising show, or this is the Dan Michaels show, or this is the Fireside Chat show, or whatever.
Right.
And then you just do it, and you chop out the stuff out of it you don't want. You chop it out or speed it up. You point the camera where you want it, turn the whole thing, and all of a sudden someone's saying something that's really kind of engrossed, it's like pulling you in. You can just do a slow zoom on while they're saying it.